Hi there, my name is Anna Yosin, and in today's video, I'll be talking about breath and movement. I'll explain how you can use the breath to help enhance your workouts, to help get in the flow state, and help improve your health. Now, in previous videos, I've talked about what is the breath anyway, why is it important, how we can use the breath to connect to literally everything in our universe because the breath is universal life force. So that's really cool. I've talked about how we can use the breath to help calm the nervous system and to help calm the mental clutter. So today we're talking specifically about movement with the body. There's, energetic movement as well, but we're talking about exercise and working out specifically. So when you're working out, in order to get the best workout that you can, you need a lot of oxygen in your body. How do you get oxygen? Well, you got to be in good cardio shape. Your cells have to have big mitochondria, and you have to breathe. We've all heard the term cardiovascular, aerobic, HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, all of those sort of things. And what that means is your heart is strong. So the stronger your heart is, the more it's able to pump blood through your body. The more blood you're going to get through your body, the more oxygen you're going to get through your body because your blood carries oxygen. When we're talking about breath, the deeper you can breathe, the more oxygen you're going to get in your lungs. Then that oxygen goes into your heart and then out through your body through your blood. So the deeper you can breathe, the more oxygen you can uptake with each breath, the more it's going to enhance your workout. There's something called VO2 max, which is maximum oxygen uptake. And basically what that means is what is the maximum amount of oxygen that you're uptaking with each breath. So that is a marker that a lot of professional athletes use when they're in their training zones, but it's also a marker of your health. So if you have really bad oxygen uptake, it means that your body's not getting very much oxygen and you're probably going to feel fatigued. You're probably going to have a lot of brain fog and you're just going to feel like old. So we don't want that. We want to get as much oxygen as we can. And a lot of people will use supplementation to help improve their mitochondrial health or other sort of biohacking things, which is wonderful. But the most basic way you can help improve the size of your mitochondria in your cells is by improving your cardiovascular strength and endurance. Doing cardio, yes, exercise. That's what helps. And so for those of you who don't know what mitochondria are, they're the little powerhouses within each individual cell that helps your cell put out more energy and receive more energy, right? So we want to have big mitochondria within our cells. And we do that the most simple way, but it's not always the easiest way, is through exercise, aerobic cardio exercise. Aerobic means with oxygen and anaerobic means without oxygen. So when we hear like, oh, I'm in the fat burning zone or in the cardio zone, it means that you're in a zone that is challenging enough that your body needs to go into its fat storage to burn energy to create energy for that movement of whatever it is that you're doing. There's an easy way to tell if you're in this zone, and it's called the talk test. So if I can say one or two words at a time, that's when I'm in that's the talk test. That's when I'm in that aerobic zone. If I can't say anything because I'm panting too much, you're past your aerobic zone, you're in your anaerobic zone, you're not getting much oxygen to your body. That's when you're sprinting, which you're not going to be able to do for very long. And if you try to push it longer than what your body is able to do, you're just going to pass out because the blood's not going back to your brain fast enough. So don't do that. Listen to your body. But there are ways that you can actually help your body stay in that aerobic zone further, longer, when you're on that edge. And if you can stay in that zone, if you can push it to the edge, your body is going to adapt, right? So our bodies are brilliant. Our bodies will adapt to anything. So if we're constantly making our body do things that cause it to need a lot of energy, like running or cycling or swimming or whatever, your body is going to adapt. The mitochondria are going to get bigger because your body is going to think, hey, I need more energy for these strenuous tasks. So it adapts to that. Just like when you're lifting heavy weights, your muscle fibers tear because it's too heavy. When they grow back together, they grow thicker so that the next time you lift that same weight, they're not going to tear again. The body adapts. It's absolutely brilliant. Our bodies are fascinating when you actually research and study them. So that's really, really cool. Now, here's what you can do to help that. So I'm running, I'm doing a run, I'm on my bike, I'm doing a cycle, I'm swimming, I'm doing something that's repetitive. I could be on the elliptical, I could be on the Stairmaster, whatever it is, it's a repetitive thing. I find a rhythm. Hopefully, usually music helps. So like if you're jogging and you have a good beat, you'll strike your feet on the beat. You'll do the cycle on the beat. You'll do the swim. If there's music in the pool, you can do that. Finding that beat, that rhythm, right? And finding your flow that way. So you find a good rhythm, you find your cadence, you're going. Now, what you can do is count your breath. So for a minute, look at your clock, some sort of clock, time it out. How many breaths you're taking within a minute. Okay, so you've got that marker down. Then you're going to increase the resistance in some way, increase the speed in some way. When you increase, so that could either be you're on the treadmill, you increase the incline, or you're hiking, you increase the incline, you turn the knob on the cycle, so on and so forth. But you try to keep the same rhythm of your feet, of your movement, and more importantly, the same rhythm of your breath, because you're going to notice the first thing that happens when you increase the intensity is your breath becomes more shallow and it becomes faster. So you go from to, right? So your challenge, this is your challenge, this is your homework, this is your exercise, your call to action is to do this little exercise, kind of play with it, and see if you can keep that same cadence of your breath with that increased intensity and that increased speed, and also the same cadence rhythm of your body movements too. So that could be a cycle, a bicycle, it could be an elliptical, it could be a treadmill or just hiking or whatever that is. That's your challenge, right? So if you can do that, you're going to train your body to uptake more oxygen with each breath, which can only enhance your workouts, which will enhance your workouts, but it will also enhance the blood flow to your brain as well. And so now let's talk about getting into that flow state. So what is the flow state anyway? Well, there's a couple different brainwave states. There's 4 main ones. They're discovering more and more as we go on, but beta brainwave state is our active state that we're alert in most of the day, most of our waking conscious day. It's the state where we're thinking the fastest, our thoughts are going fastest, because we're in a place where there might be some danger somewhere, right? So we're driving, we need to be alert because if somebody cuts us off or somebody tries to cut into our lane, we need to think quickly so we can stop and, save ourselves, right? So that brainwave, that beta brainwave state is the active state. And that's the state, again, like our thoughts are just la 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 la. So when we focus in on our breath, when we find a rhythm with our body, we can drop down into the alpha state. And when you're doing that, when you're working out, that's what they call the flow state. And so when you're in that flow state, you're in the zone. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be like something super repetitive. It could be basketball. It could be tennis. It could be football. It could be whatever it is. You're in this flow state. You've sort of dropped into a different brainwave state. And so now you're in the zone. We can get there by using the breath. And so that's a really, really fun place to be, because our brains stop working overtime and we can sort of like focus on what's fun. And when you're in that state, also your athletic performance improves as well. So that's really cool. When we're talking also about the flow state, let's talk about intention, right? So you can kind of get into that state where you're not thinking so crazy, but you're still alert enough to be intentional about where you put your energy and where you put your attention. So energy flows where attention goes, right? And we've heard this: breathe into your back, breathe into your hamstrings, breathe into the blah, 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 blah. Well, how do I breathe into something? Like my breath goes to my lungs. It means bring your attention to that specific motion or that specific body part. And when we do that, we can enhance that movement or whatever it is we're trying to achieve with that. And even Arnold Schwarzenegger has a thing in one of his books where he's talking about concentrating on a specific muscle that we're contracting, right? So if I'm doing biceps curls, when I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner and the list of to-do things and la 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 la, I mean, I'm working the muscles, but I could also be using other muscles to help do that movement. I'm not being really intentional about it. We don't get the maximum gains that way. And the studies have shown when I actually focus in on this specific movement and that's what I'm concentrating on, I will get more gains, even with the same amount of weight. So you can do that with whatever it is you're doing as well, whether it's running, whether it's cycling, whether it's swimming, whether it's jumping on the trampoline, whatever that is, focus in on one specific thing. You could focus in on your ankles and pushing off on your feet, or, keeping your posture up, or if you're kicking, what specific motion are you needing to do with your hips, with your torso, with your foot, with your knee, all of that, and that will enhance your whatever it is you're trying to do. We can start with the breath to get that focus, to get that concentration, and then that can move into our body, which will then enhance our workouts. And when we get really good at things, it's really fun and it's satisfying, and then we want to do it more. So the other thing too I'm going to talk about is now with the stretching. So let's say we've done our workout. At the end of the workout, you always want to stretch. I know not everybody does, but stretching is super, super important. So it helps lengthen the muscle fibers. It also helps with the flexibility of your connective tissue as well. So when we can breathe deeper, our bodies relax, right? And then we're able to go deeper into the stretch. When we're doing a stretch, initially, the opposing muscle is going to naturally contract. It's a protection mechanism, especially if you're cold, if you're just going to a stretch cold. It's a protection mechanism that your body naturally has so that you don't pull the muscle or tear the muscle that you're stretching. So if I go to touch my toes, I'm stretching my hamstrings, my glutes, my lower back, my quads are going to tense up. So what I have to do is I have to wait, I have to deepen my breath, I have to slow that breathing down, let my body know that it's safe to go a little bit deeper. Once my body knows it's safe, those quads will relax, and then I can go deeper into that stretch. So that's how you can use breath to help enhance your flexibility. But also you want to listen to your body and listen to your breath. So yes, push the limits of your cardio so you can improve your maximum oxygen uptake and improve your cardiovascular strength and endurance, muscle contraction, and your flexibility. But if I push farther than what my body's able to do, my breath is going to tell me, which is why when I'm pushing that limit, the breath gets more shallow, okay? If I get to the point where I am panting, I need to calm down so I don't pass out, right? If I can't control it, then I need to taper it down. Same thing with stretching. So if I'm stretching and I notice my breath, I'm holding my breath, or it's getting really like tense, that means that's your breath telling your body, hey, if you keep going, you're going to do damage. So we need to listen to that. And we need to consciously slow the breath down. Don't push any further until your body relaxes. And then you can go a little bit further. If your body never fully relaxes because you're just like a super tense person that like you just don't have those genes, sometimes it's a genetic thing, go as far as your body is able to do while it's relaxed. But if you push it farther than what it's able to do, you will tear something. So listen to your body. So I'm not telling you not to do that. Listen to your body. One other thing about during the actual workouts, there's a burning sensation that happens, and that oftentimes hinders people from going further because they don't like that sensation. It's not pleasant necessarily. So what's happening is it's a lactic acid buildup in a specific muscle. So your muscle fibers are tearing because there's a load being put on it that is more than what they're capable of or used to. Not necessarily a bad thing. But that lactic acid builds up in there. The deeper you can breathe, the more blood flow you're going to have, the more lactic acid is going to move out, and then you're going to be able to push a little bit farther and get a better gain with that specific motion, with that specific movement, exercise, whatever it is that you're doing. So breathing only enhances your workouts. It helps enhance your focus and your concentration. And the more oxygen your body can have on a regular basis, it's going to improve your health because you're going to have more energy for your day throughout the day. We don't like being tired, right? Being tired sucks. It's not great. So the more energy you can have throughout the day, the better quality of life that you're going to have. So with that being said, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, comments, anything to add to that at all, please feel free to put that in the comments section. I would love to hear your feedback on that. I wish you much love and much light, blessings and blessings, and namaste.